Thailand and Cambodia have started talks over how to maintain a ceasefire after a series of border clashes between the two nations. The 4 days of discussions began in Malaysia on Monday. That's 1 week after Bangkok and Phnom Penh agreed to halt fighting in the disputed region. Officials from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations say a primary task is to establish a team to monitor and maintain the ceasefire. A defense ministerial level meeting is expected to take place on the final day of the talks, with representatives from the U.S. and China attending. The question now is how the talks will progress as Thailand and Cambodia continue to trade barbs. The Cambodian Defense Ministry on Sunday night claimed that the Thai military is planning to launch attacks along the border, but a Thai military spokesperson dismissed the claim. Fighting between the nations broke out on July 24th, but the ceasefire deal was struck 4 days later in negotiations mediated by other countries, including this year's ASEAN chair, Malaysia. For more, we are joined by our Bangkok correspondent, Takaoka Chikashi, who's been tracking the story. So, Chikashi, it has been a week since the truce. So, has the fighting stopped along the border?
There have been no reports of major clashes or attacks on civilians like the ones we saw late last month. But I would have to say the tensions are still high and the ceasefire has been fragile. Some scuffles have been reported since the day the truce took effect. Both sides have accused the other of breaching the ceasefire agreement, and both have denied this. At the same time, the two nations have been keen to gain international understanding. Both organized visits to the border area last week, inviting foreign envoys and international media. Defense officials showed the damage they say came from the clashes and claimed they are honoring the ceasefire. Last month, armed clashes erupted at many locations in the disputed border region. Both countries are at odds over the alleged treatment of Cambodian soldiers captured by Thailand.
So officials have sat down to talk about the ceasefire. What can we expect from the dialogue?
Well, one of the key issues is the deployment of a monitoring team, which will be crucial to keep the ceasefire in place. This year's ASEAN chair, Malaysia, is expected to lead the team if Thailand and Cambodia agree to maintain the ceasefire in this week's meetings. But even if the truce holds, it's not easy for the two countries to overcome their animosity for each other. The tensions have been simmering since May 28th, when troops briefly exchanged fire, killing one Cambodian soldier. That was followed by a string of spats. These included leaked phone arguments between the leaders and the explosion of landmines that Thailand accused Cambodia of bearing recently. Both countries tightened border controls, restricting the movements of people and goods. The territorial disputes have persisted on both countries for over a century. Major armed clashes broke out back in 2011, 3 years after a border temple was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. More than 20 were killed. Now, the very root of the crisis, which is a dispute over the border demarcation, doesn't show any sign of being resolved. So the talks in Malaysia are just the beginning of a long process for the neighbors to mend their relationship, which is one of the key factors in maintaining stability and economic exchanges in the region.
Thank you, Chikashi.